Two very different stories are unfolding on the world stage. On one side is a country pausing mid-stride, and on the other is a nation pushing ahead in full speed. This is the tale of the US government shutdown and the Reserve Bank of India's confident declaration that it's on a growth path, and coincidentally, on the same day.
You said you might do a lot of layoffs. If DOGE is already reducing the federal workforce, why is it necessary to link more federal jobs cut to a shutdown?
Well, the Democrats want to shut it down, and so when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected.
On October 1, 2025, the US federal government officially entered a shutdown. This happened because the Congress tried to pass a continuing resolution, a stopgap funding bill that would have kept the government running temporarily at existing funding levels. The Senate rejected both the Republican CR and a Democratic version that included healthcare and Medicaid provisions. The shutdown comes after 7 years, the last one also taking place during Trump's first presidential term. Occurring between late 2018 to early 2019, for 35 days, it was the longest federal government shutdown because Democrats opposed Trump's proposed funding for the US-Mexico wall. Around 800,000 federal employees were forced to work without pay or take unpaid leave during this period. Prolonged shutdowns can weaken consumer confidence and slow economic growth, with the 2018-19 closure estimated to have cost $3 billion in GDP. The approach has been criticized by analysts and unions, warning that public trust in government and employee morale could suffer long-term consequences.
Republicans are plunging America into a shutdown, rejecting bipartisan talks, pushing a partisan bill, and risking America's health care, worst of all. A few moments ago, Republicans once again rejected Democrats' proposals to avoid a shutdown, fix health care premiums, and spare Americans the calamity of skyrocketing through-the-roof health care costs. Republicans blocked it again.
Trump doesn't want to lift a finger to stop health care premiums from more than doubling. But he is raring to go when it comes to firing whoever he wants to, or slashing whatever he wants to, or prosecuting whoever he wants to, or telling his military his opponents are enemies within, and tweeting AI nonsense and lying about whatever he wants to. Trump doesn't care about how this shutdown is going to hurt real, average Americans across the country. He doesn't care about the Republican health care crisis. He clearly thinks this is all a game.
Our position is a simple one. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care. That's what this fight is all about. We're here, we're ready, we're willing and able to find a bipartisan path forward to fund the government in a way that actually meets the needs of the American people in terms of their health, their safety, and their economic well-being.
This time too, as many as 750,000 federal workers face furloughs and numerous non-essential services are set to suspend operations. Some critical staff like air traffic controllers and Federal Aviation Administration employees will have to continue working but without pay until the shutdown ends. Historically, during shutdowns, many public services slow or halt. Economic data releases may be delayed, regulatory activities stall, and day-to-day government functions get disrupted. While essential services like national security, Medicare, and military operations often continue, the overall effect is uncertainty, delays, and shaken confidence. Such shutdowns also reverberate beyond US borders. Markets cringe, investors rethink risks, supply chains feel jitters, and emerging economies can face sudden capital flows or currency swings. Now let's shift the view to New Delhi. Instead of gridlock, the message is growth. In its latest monetary policy meeting, the Reserve Bank of India chose to hold the key repo rate steady at 5.50%. Additionally, it raised India's GDP growth forecast for fiscal year 2025 to 26 to 6.8%, up from 6.5%, due to stronger domestic demand, favorable tax policies, and resilient investment.
Real GDP growth for this year is now projected at 6.8%. This is a revision from our earlier forecast of 6.5%. Q2 now is projected at 7%, Q3 at 6.4%, Q4 at 6.2%. Real GDP growth for Q1 next year is projected at 6.4%. EC observed that the overall inflation outlook has turned even more benign in the last few months, due to a sharp decline in food prices and the rationalization of GST rates. The average headline inflation for this year has been consequently revised lower from 3.7%, which was projected in June, 3.1% in August, to now 2.6%.
Not long ago, Donald Trump and some of his advisors described India as a dead economy. The remark was meant to dismiss India's prospects, but the latest numbers suggest otherwise. India's growth momentum and upgraded forecasts are showing that the fundamentals remain strong. On the other hand, the US faces risks from its government shutdown. With federal workers furloughed and key economic data delayed, the Federal Reserve could be left without the information it needs to manage policy. This uncertainty, combined with inflationary pressures, could slow growth further. The contrast is clear. While America struggles with the effects of political deadlock, India is projecting stability and resilience.